How to network like a pro and find the perfect collaborators for your next hit song. All right, so there are some really solid tips when it comes to just generally like networking, right? So, number one is get your butt to a music industry event. Okay, so what's a music industry event? What do we have? Festivals, showcases, basically anything where you have an opportunity to connect with someone. So, give me an example. You've been in the music industry for a long time, and so even you and I
Mhm.
met because we just were kind of showing up in the same scene. We'd go to shows. We would, I mean, we just saw each other all the time. And then eventually it was like, oh, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I play bass. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I need someone to play bass. Come do this thing. And then that's how you evolve relationships. What's your experience been when it comes to like meeting people at events?
Well, technically, I was playing guitar and you needed a bass player. But so yeah,
Didn't I say
so no,
bass?
you said, oh, what do you do? You play bass? No, no, no. I
Well,
switched to bass
you do
so I
play
could
bass.
play. Yeah, because I switched to it, but I was the guitar player. A
Yeah.
little different. Yeah. So no, but I mean, yeah. So that's what I was talking about. So when you go out, so I would be out all the time, like out networking all the time. Like I was literally out probably like 3, 4 times a week before. And yes, there'd be a little fun and partying involved, but like I was seriously networking. I was out talking to people. I was like, that's what I was there to do. That was the whole purpose of why I was out there. More so, like even a lot of times that that I would bump into you, it would be at shows, but it would be backstage at shows. Like the show would be going on, and I wouldn't even be watching the show. I'd maybe watch 1 or 2 shows, but it was more about the networking than it is about. But that's that those are my goals. But yeah, there's
Right.
concerts, clubs, those kind of things where that there's going to be people. You also will see sometimes in groups and online boards. Like where there's industry events where they're just kind of getting people together. There's aux parties where if you're a producer, what you do is sometimes studios will throw aux parties where they will have a bunch of producers all kind of come in a room, and then they'll pass the aux around to their phones and stuff like that so they can play their beats. And so you're networking with other producers, artists come so they can find different artists. There's different things like that going on all the time. I'm sure in every city. I'm sure in your city somebody's doing it. They go on
Yeah,
all the
and I
time
would
around here.
say, because that Orko had mentioned before we started the segment that, he's a little bit of an introvert. I saw David resonates with this. I do as well, but, through practice, you become an extrovert because you kind of have to. But if you are this kind of person and maybe you get some anxiety about going to social events, maybe just pick one. Don't feel
Mhm.
like you are going to open the floodgates and now you have to go and see people and touch people and oh my gosh, too much. But maybe just, one thing so that you can kind of check it off your list because sometimes it will result in great things and sometimes it'll be a waste of your time, right? Because if you're going to go, drive an hour to something and there's like five people in the room
Yeah,
and they are, beginners and,
yeah.
and all the things, you never know. So when it comes to networking like a pro, though, still be open to going to these events. Number two, though, slide into their DMs. Okay.
Yes.
So, profile, right? Work your social media because as soon as you message someone from your social media, right, your Instagram or something, they're going to go see who you are. And so if you have a terrible profile picture, if you have a
Yeah,
terrible
yeah.
kind of just general presentation, when I have a new student come in, I'll sit with them and I'll be like, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give a facelift to your social media because it's your business card, right? What do you have posted? What represents you? What do you have pinned to your post? What does it say in your actual description of your profile? Okay. So we're going to be looking at things like that. But let's talk about having conversations in DMs. How important is it?
I think it's really important, but I think the most important aspect, like you were saying, is if you not that you have to have your page all completely ready, but realize that you time it like I said before, time is so important. Your time, their time is so valuable, especially if they are maybe doing better than you and they kind of you can see they got their stuff together, like they're working. It takes a lot of work to run your business. So don't waste your time. But so make your things personal though. Don't just copy and paste spam like, hey, you want to collab? Like look at something on their thing, say something personal to them about their page, something that you like, why it would be kind of a good fit. Don't just go, hey, and then expect them to hit you back with a, hey, what do you want? And you go like, I make beats. Like, don't waste people's time with a long,
Right.
drawn out conversation. I think that
Right.
is incredibly important. And like you said, like, make sure that because first thing they're going to do before they even answer your page is look at your page or answer your message is look at your page to see who you even are. What, like, are you taking yourself seriously? And if you show that you're taking yourself seriously, like with the profile facelift, that would intrigue somebody to take you seriously and maybe answer you, because we get spam as artists and producers all the time. It feels like all I ever get is like marketing stuff. So just be personal.
Yeah. And then I would say when it comes to learning how to network like a pro, don't wait for it. Okay. So in the same kind of realm, you know, you don't have to use social media. It really is a very low resistance way to reach out to people because I don't know, when you send an email, it seems so much more formal and you need to make sure it's so much more better formatted and proper words. And sometimes we just won't send the damn email because of all that. But you know, don't wait to connect. So if you saw, you know, for example, like for me, if I saw a great other attorney when I was kind of coming up and trying to start my law firm, and even from that little side of what I do, and I'm like, you know what, I really love to meet this person, email them, right? And then you can go steps above and beyond. For example, Loom. I love Loom. It's a way that you can
That's great.
record yourself on one side and you can record your screen. Like you can record a little video for them. I did this the other day. I met someone who runs this great business and I thought that maybe I would do an exchange of services with them because I was like, they didn't ask for help. I think I could help them. And so what I did is I put together a little summary and I was like, hey, just letting you know, here's some things that I think you're doing great and just some stuff that you should think about. There was no actual pitch in there. I just kind of, you know, had offered some thoughts, and I left it out there. No expectations, but lo and behold, they hit me back. Oh my gosh, you know, great ideas. Let's jump on a call. Let's discuss this further. So, you know, I would say when it comes to kind of reaching out to people, if you have something to offer, an idea, that will get your foot through the door really well.
Yeah, and just to tag on top of that, like if you are looking for a producer and you say you're a rapper or you are a, you know, singer or whatever, you know, maybe do something, remix one of their songs, do, you know, jump on one of their beats that they have and just put something together and go, I'm not releasing this, I have no intention, but just to show what we would sound like together. Or, you know, if you see an artist that if you're a producer that you want to collaborate and you know, can remix one of their songs and just kind of do it from the show what you do. I find that, you know, like you were saying, giving some advice or giving some, you know, thoughts on something, or if you actually
Yeah,
do something
value,
for somebody,
right?
value,
Give
just giving
give
value.
value. Absolutely. So if you want to network like a pro, I think the common denominator in everything that we're saying is that you kind of need to put yourself out there. If people don't know of you, you know, and even Alan, you know, I'm introverted. I have a hard time approaching people. So not all these methods are necessarily great for everyone. Maybe it's better to do kind of the more digital, introducing yourself via a DM or an email, right? And that's okay. Go with your strengths, but don't just kind of sit by. If you need to be networking and getting some mentorship, seek it out, and you'll be thankful to yourself that you did.